Hi everyone. So we are going to be reading today. I feel like I might have carpal tunnel in this hand, but not this hand. Um, I was going to play some video games, and I probably will end up playing more video games. But we're gonna do some reading because it's a bit chilly, and let's snuggle up and read a book. It's not. I guess it's not like a book, but I'm pretty excited. This book is from the Academy Museum, and it is Hayao Miyazaki. He is the creator of Ghibli Studios. Um, yeah, we are going to open this. We haven't. I realized the mic isn't picking up me tearing this. The ISBN number of this book is 978-1942-8841. If anybody needs the ISBN of this book. Um, yeah. Probably who's that? Uh, is the book keeps focusing and unfocusing, and the title is holographic. Um, it says this richly illustrated journey through the extraordinary cinematic worlds of Academy Award-winning filmmaker Hayao Miyazaki introduces hundreds of original production materials, including artworks never seen before outside of Ghibli's studios archives. Except concept sketches, character designs, storyboards, layouts, backgrounds, and production cells from his earlier career through 11 of his feature films, including My Neighbor Totoro, Kiki's Delivery Service, Princess of Mononoke, Spirited Away, and Howl's Moving Castle, offer insight into Miyazaki's creative process and masterful animation technique. I love his animation style. On the back of the book is Spirited Away, No Face, and I am drawing a blank right now, so I'm not even going to try. On the front is the tree spirits. It is Totoro and where are the tree spirits? I forget what they are. And the binding on this does have the Academy Museum thing and his name. It is very nice. And let's read. Oh, I love blankets. Blankets are the true way to my hearth, as well as sandwiches. And a lot of things, quite honestly. But I'm not that materialistic. Blankets are just amazing. Ugh, three. Ooh, this is beautiful. Oh, hmm. My sister is calling. Um, she never calls, but she just also hung up. So I mean, meh. If she calls again, I'll answer. She probably called me by accident. Oh, I was about to say. So there is 284, more than 284 pages in this. Oh. On HBO Max, they have almost all of his things, and soon should be Ghibli Fest. So I'm not sure if in your area you have it, but it's whenever they end up showing a lot of the main movies, like the ones that won awards, like Ponyo, Spirited Away, Totoro. I think they're even they showed it 2 years ago. Howl's Moving Castle, Pompoko. I want to say all the big ones they end up showing in movie theaters, and that's pretty cool. Burrow, which is on, was like I think his last creation, if I'm correct. Um, Actually, I don't think it was. I don't think it's his last creation. He was planning on making it his last creation, and then he ended up working on more things, which was really appreciated. I think he is now 81, which is you're doing great. But yeah, you are amazing if you end up watching this. And thank you so much for all of your works and sharing them with the world because they definitely make the world a better place. And it's a good way of viewing the world. I wish my memory was as good as his to not be able to take a picture or sketch things versus just being able to take a mental picture and then later on have it as like a concept that's in your head that you can put to paper. Oh, his landscapes are beautiful. And so are the buildings. Oh, oh. I'm not sure if I've seen How Will You Live. I'm going to have to look at that. That might be one that I actually haven't seen. Ooh. Hopefully this book will give me a whole bunch more things to. Totoro. I didn't know that he was a philosopher. That's pretty cool. But I mean, that does line up with his values, I would say. I think a majority of his works do bring people hope. And that is pretty good. That, like, no matter the language, because you can read, I think they're dubbed in so many languages. Almost every language can watch his movies and actually be able to, like, he had an impact on the world with all of his works of art. Oh, his 11 feature films as well. And his non featured films are so, like, oh, they're great. Mm. Nausicaa Valley of the Wind is a good one. That is a very good one. I don't think there's a bad. I never watched a bad, like all of them. Even the ones that aren't as animated and are more like of a sketch drawing, that are their storyline still like is wonderful and outstanding, and everything just flows so well. And it is odd that the majority of the stories, like some of them take place in like North America, like the United States, but like he's from ah and oh, maybe that's where my love for Japan comes from, is like the Ghibli studios, because they just depict it in such like a, like it's a dream-like, and everything is just so beautiful. Mm. It says at 80 years of age, he's working on his 12th feature film. Mm. It's crazy how they used to do this, like back in the. This says that it was in 1985. It's crazy that like all the way back then they were making these works of art, and they didn't even have half the technology that we have today, and they were all doing it hand, like frame by frame, just drawn, and a lot of it was just from his mind, like that. Oh, blows me out of the water. I think I would love to work Kimchi Studios. Definitely have to improve my drawing again, but I oh, if you guys could teach me, that'd be great. Mm. I feel like that'd be a fun job on the side. Or maybe I can teach myself to draw like them, and then you guys will just hire me because you'll just see my beautiful artwork. Like I can do 3D animation. They worked 8 hours a day to create the films. Oh. Hmm. Yeah, and it's crazy to think that like Ponyo came out whenever I was 8, and I remember seeing it in the movie theaters, and I feel like I was older whenever I saw it, but like I guess like growing up, I just had like Ghibli Studio movies, and I had Ponyo, like him, like like his works of art are so amazing. Maybe that's why. Well, kindness goes a long way. And I love that I'm able to share it with my child, and he absolutely like Sam. He loves the Ghibli Studios movies so much. His eyes, he'll watch them and he'll watch them all the way through. And other movies, he doesn't just sit there and watch them, but he's so calm, and there's no like he can't learn anything from them that isn't necessarily kind, so they are very kid friendly, I'd say, relatively speaking. Mhm. And at some point, I would love to take him to the Ghibli Studios Museum. Oh, that would be amazing. Oh, they can climb into the cat bus. Oh, that's awesome. Mhm. Let's lose our way together. Oh. Oh, he created a preschool called House of the Three Bears that's located within walking distance. My heart. Oh, so in the one film that's on HBO that went through like his creative process of whenever he was making the movie Burrow that came out in I think it came out in 2019 maybe. Don't quote me on that. But there was the kids who were waving to him, and I'm taking a wild guess that that was from the preschool. I didn't pick that up. That makes sense. Oh, awesome. So it's kind of like a Montessori class. Hmm. Well, there's a whole bunch of footnotes too. It's very nice. I enjoy how he does his image boards too. It's oh hey, I just was watching this today. I was rewatching it. Castle in the Sky. This is um some sketch art from that. It is nice. It's a image board. Mm. Like, this is amazing. I love, like, mm, that is beautiful. And my question is, like, how does it go from these drawings to flowing so, like, beautifully on the screen? Oh, the Totoros, like the three of them. The biggest one was named Mimi Nisuki, Zuku, and then the next one was Zuku, and then the smallest one was Min. Oh gosh. The medium Totoro was Zuko. Oh. Oh, so the big one is me, Min, Zuko, and then the medium one is Zuko, and then the other one is Min. Oh, the all white one. Oh, you're so cute. Oh, Kiki's delivery service. Like, it's all so beautiful. Am I going like, were they using, what type of markers were they using? Where is it? I guess this does look. It doesn't look like it's watercolor, but in some places it does look like it's watercolor. It's definitely pencil and watercolor in some areas, and then in others it kind of looks. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, like this is amazing. This is from the Princess of Mononoke. Like it has his entire his facial expressions and everything. Oh, it has the sketch of Howl's moving castle and the feet and how they work. Oh, she looks so much. She looks a bit more detailed and different in the concept art for it. Ooh, is this? That's what I thought. So it has the house from Spirited Away. Oh, like the bathhouse, the exterior. Here, look. So this is the Spirited Away bathhouse, and then this is Howl's Moving Castle. I'll bring it up closer so you can see. I think that is a lot better. This. But do you see what I was talking about? How her face looks a lot different. And then there's the bathhouse. That's crazy. And it's awesome how much the on the image board, like what went into it and then like what changed. Because that's and how he put down the mechanics of like how the legs would cycle for the castle. Like, oh, it is amazing. Oh, Panyo! Mm. Wind Rises was a good one, but it wasn't. I feel like that one wasn't as maybe because I didn't like. I watched that one probably in 2019. I didn't end up watching that one until I was in college because I didn't even know. Like I didn't look into farther into Ghibli studios than the ones that I was familiar with. Like oh, Ponyo. Um, but Rin Rising, the storyline of it was oh, it was so wonderful. I mean, not necessarily wonderful, but how detailed it was. Oh, this is them going down a road. Rise of the Miyazaki medium. You've consistently tried to make films, not anime. I do. feel like they're films versus anime. I guess I've never considered them anime, except for I know that I consider them animated, but I've never considered them anime. But I think it's because they're like actually movies, not like seasons or episodes. Like I think if they were episodes, maybe I would have considered them more of an anime. But they are beautiful films. Hmm. Ooh. Oh, I didn't know that. I hope he ends up coming up with a Miyazaki world because that would be amazing. Please create one of those, but I think aren't isn't Ghibli Studios now under Disney? So Disney kind of owns the rights, so they can't make a Miyazaki world. Oh, that's sadness. Oh, Astro Boy. Did he work for Astro Boy? No way. Let me check. Because I would have considered Astro Boy an anime, even though he did try to make them all films. Okay, so he didn't. It was just one of his inspirations was Astro Boy, I think. It was Tezuka? Tezuka? Tezuka's? Aww. And he was the pioneer of story manga. I did not. Hmm. I didn't know that Astro Boy inspired him, but I guess that does line up because there wasn't that many people back. They were doing something completely different than everyone then. Aww. Aww. They do definitely make young people want to see them because they take you into a completely different world than most movies, I would say. It makes you view the world from a different place as well, just because I feel like you should appreciate more of what's around you and it kind of makes you think of like what is around you and the possible worlds that could live out there, you know? It's just oh, I love his style. It is uniquely amazing. Yeah, like it's crazy. The Princess Mononoke came out in 1997 and you you couldn't even tell by how it's like animated that it came out like that long ago. I guess it's not necessarily that long ago, but on the scheme of things, it's quite a ways away. He did originally have a virtual museum that had all kinds of things. So I'm assuming if you go on the way back machine, you might be able to see his virtual museum. I'll check. I'll look into that. Mm, beautiful. Yeah, it is crazy how different cinema was back then. Like now we have Doctor Strange, and I can't wait to see that. And that is completely I like the CGI and everything in that. Oh, how far we have come in cinematography is crazy. Oh, the little paper theater. That's cool. I've never seen those before. He grew up the years following World War II. It is also crazy that it is very good that there hasn't been another war since World War II, but uh, it's crazy how much the world can change in one person's lifetime to the next. Because, like, the world is completely different than the world that he was growing up in at that time. The Panda and the Serpent! I love that! It's mentioned in here. Oh, The Panda and the Serpent used to be one of my favorite cartoon craze movies. Oh, oh, that brings back so many memories. I wasn't even thinking about that when I saw it. Oh, my heart. Oh, I didn't know that that was the first Japanese feature-length animated film in color, and that it came in 1958. Oh, I didn't know he got his inspiration from that. That makes it even. Hmm. I grew up. Maybe that, like, it's subliminally. I love Gibshi because all of his influences. Mm. Mm. I did realize that it was reminiscent of the Disney's Pinocchio whale. Oh, he was 17-year olds whenever Panda and the Magic Serpent came out. didn't realize that it was imperfect though. I thought it was amazing, and I guess you were 17 and critiquing it. I was never. But for those of you who didn't ever see Panda the Serpent, this is the girl who is the serpent. Um, it was it is wonderful. You might be able to see it online now if you don't know what I'm talking about. It is really good. I'd highly recommend watching it. It came out a while ago. I didn't realize that it was that old. Um, but yeah. Hey, ooh, The Panda and the Serpent is an amazing movie. Mm. He was an activist as well. Mm. I also enjoyed that he thought of like the pain of the characters, and he thought to like modify certain storylines to make them more to align with like his style of stories, you know? It is beautiful, but I didn't realize that he took so many inspirations from other people. Like, but then again, I guess I wasn't thinking of who he would have gotten his inspiration from. I was, I wasn't thinking, but that's amazing. Because I could put that over there. I'm going to. I'd say this book is really good so far, and I am on page 54 now, out of 200 something. Oh, so it was actually probably a dream of his to work with Walt Disney just because it was one of his um inspirations, which does make sense. Oh. Hmm. He disagreed with Western critics who considered him a Japanese Disney. Ah, so Walt Disney was working as a producer and he was working as an animator. But that does make more sense because he was doing more work because he was actually doing the storyboards and stuff, and Walt Disney wasn't. He wasn't going all the way through things, and also Hayao Miyazaki, his viewpoints on the world were completely different and more peace and loving versus Walt Disney's. I'll just let that sit there. I mean, Disneyland is great, Disney World is great, but his viewpoints are a bit outdated. Hayao Miyazaki, his viewpoints, I feel like more people should maybe follow because kindness goes a long way. Oh, they were very simplistic. That does make sense. Snow White to him is how animators can complete a work in every healthy way, achieving a type of perfection in the process. That does make sense because it worked once and they were able to replicate it, and the majority of those stories pre existed before Disney because they were the Grimm stories. And my question is, are people just able to remake Grimm stories? If anyone knows, just let me type in the comments because you can answer any questions I have, answer questions I don't have. I would love knowledge, and hey, I'm here to talk. But yeah, that's crazy. I didn't realize. I didn't realize, but I guess they were one of the biggest names, so why wouldn't Disney have had an impact on him? And that's definitely true that so many people would compare it, but they are completely different because he was actually physically animating and he was working 8-hour days flipping through pages. Like, oh, that's crazy. Hmm. Is an illusion of life. The nine old men. That is true. A lot of Disney is like dainty and delicate stances, and they like pose versus a lot of his works. He actually thinks about the character and like their emotions and like physically how they would actually act and whatnot. So like the storyboards and stuff and the actual movie posters do actually give you a sense of the character. That is, I wasn't ever thinking about it that way either. I need to give this hand a break. Sorry for cracking bones. You guys do not like that. I have a couple friends who don't. It's sorry. I'm sorry. I can't help myself. That is understandable because not everything in life has a happy ending. And it is Disney in a lot of cases reflects a happy ending, but it's not always best to leave on a happy ending because not everything in life does end that way. And not everything in life is that way. And it's okay that it's not. I hope everyone is okay, and I am glad you exist. Aw. I didn't realize that he was also working on all of those movies beforehand, like before he even actually opened the studio. I thought that they were just all works of the studio that they were working on, like hand in hand, but I didn't realize that he had worked on them in bits and pieces before he actually started doing this as like his full time job. This book offers a lot of insight into his life. I think what I was more so expecting was a museum of pictures, but this is 10 times like this is definitely worth it. If anybody was wondering if they should get this book and is a fan of Hayao Miyazaki or Totoro or basically any animation work, get this book because it offers a lot of insight into his inspirations as well as his ideology. But yeah, I'm gonna read it, and yay, this book is really good. I didn't even put two and two together. I didn't even realize that he took. But it makes so much sense that he took inspiration from Homer and the Odyssey as well, because that makes yeah. That's what this guy. But it was a good movie. Hmm. Yeah, I didn't know that Nausicaa was not like was created before the studio was even made. But that does make sense. Aw. But then yeah, his it does go along with a lot of his style, and that is probably the foundation of a lot of his work. because it gave him the courage to continue to do it as like a lifelong career. Hmm. And he does make people aware of the climate and the different. I did not know that either. Hmm. That's awesome. So in 2010, he published a list of his 50 favorite children's books. Hmm. He said that one of the essential elements of most classical children's literature is that the children in the stories actually fend for themselves. That is true. Um, Kids learn more from their journeys they take alone because they actually have to problem solve, and the more they struggle and persevere, the more they learn of, because basically every failure you have, you can learn from and try again. And if you keep trying, and if you have struggles that you work through and your children's watch you struggle, they're more prone to actually try hard and keep trying, which is very positive life skill to have, because if you get knocked down and you don't get back up, mm, you're not going to get far. Take it one step at a time, and I promise you'll get through it. Mm. I didn't know that he made Totoro to inspire parents to fondly recall their childhood. Mm. But it definitely does. It definitely achieves that now and also then. It is great. A lot of his movies are great for all ages. Totoro's voice is a bit an owl and a bit like a bear. Hmm. He lives on acorns and is supposedly the forest keeper. But it was a half-baked idea. Oh. Mm. Mm. It is crazy how much your childhood does follow you into adulthood. Oh, I didn't know that at their first release, Mighty Potato and Grave of the Fireflies um dumped in the box offices whenever they were first released. That's crazy. Hmm. But then he started Kiki's delivery service. That's awesome. And now, look at him. He has Gibshy Fest, and it's been going on for years, which is crazy. Mm. Howl's Moving Castle came out in 2005. I was 5 whenever it came out, but oh, I didn't realize that they made Up after. I remember whenever they came out in Up in 2009, and that was amazing. I loved it, and I didn't know that it was a tribute to Miyazaki's work, but it does make sense because the style of it and everything. Mm. Ellie and Carl. Mm. There's a whole bunch of footnotes on this page. That is beautiful that they have the footnotes and sources for everything. Oh, it's how. Hmm. This image board is like, look at how. That is true, I guess. We're on page 69. You look so realistic that it could exist, or that it could have existed. He is definitely one of the greatest filmmakers of our time. I cannot argue that. His films are loved from people around the world. Hmm. I didn't know that in Japan. In Japan, it outsold Hollywood blockbusters like a Titanic and Lord of the Rings. That's crazy. I know that here it probably didn't outsell those, and those are amazing as well. If you guys have never seen the Titanic, classic. If you guys have never seen Lord of the Rings, classic. Harry Potter, classic. There's a lot of classics. But Hayao Miyazaki's films, classics. Hmm. I guess it does make sense because he does everything. It's what the picture that's on the back. That like look at how amazing this looks. Like they all of his characters do have that charm. That does make sense. Especially Hal and Hal's moving castle. Hmm. I never knew that he highly liked Pinocchio and Snow White out of all the Disney films, but that does make sense because I feel like those ones are definitely in the top two. I love Pinocchio. Pinocchio. Brayden, whenever I had first met him, he had never watched Pinocchio, and that was 2016. So he had to have been 17. So he was 17 and had never watched Pinocchio, and that came out a long time. I guess it did come out a long time, but it's a Disney classic. Like, how could you not watch Pinocchio? If any of you guys have not seen Pinocchio, you should definitely watch Pinocchio because it has Figaro, which I think Felix the Cat is based off of. Don't quote me on that one, but I want to say they ended up. He visited Pixar in 2007, and he was enthralled by it, but was like, I'd rather not cut somebody else's work. That does make sense because you don't want, oh, you don't want to hurt people's feelings by being like, hey, if we're all on a part of a story team, our movie will be too long. Hmm. I guess it does make sense if you want to do the best job that you think you could do. you might be doing it yourself. Ooh, that is also awesome because if you are the only person who is doing it and you're writing the storyboard as you go, you don't necessarily know the story until you get to the end. And he did that with Spirited Away. He just started off with the parents getting separated from the girl, and then he discovered everything else. So, like, imagine just like coming up with that. Oh, he is a genius. Hmm, hmm. I guess that does make sense because if you do watch a movie over and over again, it's better for the directors and stuff, but it's not necessarily bettering yourself because you could spend that time watching other movies and gaining more knowledge. I know that I am guilty of watching movies over and over again, but it's more or less just because I feel like sometimes I miss things and then I see things that I haven't noticed the past 5 times that I watched it. Or I'll put it on as background noise whenever I'm like doing work or something. I feel like that's more common because whenever I'm newly watching a movie, I tend to not put it on the background because then I'll get sidetracked. But if I have seen the movie, I'll definitely put it on whenever I'm doing work. And you should definitely spend more time outside doing things than sitting inside and not doing anything. And I don't consider being on the computer necessarily bad. I would say outdoor, I don't know. It's like a sense of adventure, you know? And the world outside consistently changes. While inside it stays semi consistent, I'd say. And on this page, it is the flying machines. They're not necessarily the flying machines, they're just the airplanes from Pocoroso and the characters. I never realized that the color schemes kind of match up with them, just a little bit. And this guy looks like he's from Atlantis. Like the. Is it Disney? Disney's Atlantis? Moving castle. Oh, that is understandable. His philosophy is amazing as well. And I meant Castle in the Sky before. That moving castle. Ugh. Mm. His films are definitely timeless, which is crazy because some of them even came out such long ago, yet they still are relevant today. It is good to embrace contradiction. Mhm. And I do enjoy how in depth he is with the characters because so many of his characters, he doesn't show just the tip of the iceberg for them. But then again, I mean, he shows bits and pieces. Like a majority of them, he doesn't have sequels to any of the movies. Yeah, he doesn't have any sequels to any of the movies. So, for instance, there's not a Totoro 2, where it continues. There's not a Spirited Away 2, where it continues, like, her back with her parents. Like, oh, like, oh, there's so much opportunities. And, like, he does have the characters, like, everything. Like, could you imagine any of them? Mm. But then again, why would you watch? No, I would. I would. There's a Coraline 2 coming out. I can't not watch that. So if there was a Totoro 2 coming out, I couldn't help but watch that. If there was a Spirited Away coming out, couldn't help to watch that. They're back in the theaters for Gimshi Fest. I kind of can't help but watch them. Like, oh, but I do have them on HBO Max, so I might just rewatch them all to get out my fill and watching the movies. But oh, I'm so in love. Oh, Hayao Miyazaki. Also, I enjoy how delicate their faces are as well, and how each character does kind of have their own color, and it's really thought out the entire color scheme and everything. Oh, it is so beautiful. I feel a lot of gloomy people do think about others more. Like, I would say that definitely holds true. These storyboards are amazing. I mean, I guess the image boards. I keep. Oh, these aren't story, they're just the images. And also the way that he the amount of detail he puts in to these is it's amazing. Hmm. Hmm. Ponyo. I never realized how close the little Ponyo girl's face looks to my neighbor Totoro's the little girl's face. Like, oh, if you take the bottom half, they're so cute. Hmm. And I did actually hear this theory that they were originally just one little girl, and that's why the one talks more than the other, and the other one just kind of repeats it because she's just. Mm. I think Samuel has arisen. So I guess we will stop on page 91, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. So, bye. This book is really good, and see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.